Hey everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me to not one but two author readings on the same day for the same school because I was invited to the Oscar Romero College in Dendermonde for their Leesweek project, which is a reading week that they organize. But before we dive into that, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome to Quillscene. My name is Megan. If you like things that have to do with reading, with writing, with my adventures as a writer, with Wicca, with geeky stuff, then you're in the right place. Make sure to click on the magical subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell, because on that way you'll always get a notification whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, time for a double author reading. We're going to Dendermonde. So, as you may know by now, I am an approved author, as they call it, since July 2023, if I'm not mistaken, which means that I am on the approved authors list, again with the air quotes, of auteurslezingen, or author readings. Auteurslezingen is an organization here in Belgium. It is basically a platform which is a huge list of, well, not a huge, but still a big list of Flemish authors, illustrators, spoken word artists that can be booked through that platform with a discount price. Again, it's basically when an author gets booked for a reading, they ask a certain amount of money, and author readings pays 100 euros of that amount, and then the organization of the one that books the reading, school, library, whatever, pays the rest of the fee that the author asks. To get on that list, you have to compile a little dossier with a lot of information, including your motivation to give author readings / workshops, but also the contracts that behind your books, because they have to cover some very high critique, if I must say, but yeah, when that's okay, you get put on the list, and then people can book you with like that discount price. I was actually already contacted for this project in the end of 2023, but the official booking came beginning 2024, and it was by the part of the school that is all about languages, and basically the Oscar Romero College in Dendermonde is an school campus of like different schools that actually form one big school. And since 2021 they have this project called the Leesweek, or the Reading Week, in which they use like an entire week to try to get their students interested in reading. At the beginning, like the first few days, it's all about reading during classes, especially of course the language classes. That's easy, but yeah, each teacher, no matter the subject, tries to incorporate reading and books in their classroom, and it all has like the big finale on Friday, when in the afternoon basically all classes are scrapped, and it's an entire afternoon of authors, illustrators, spoken words people, spoken word artists, who were invited to the school to come give a reading or a workshop. As you can see, I wasn't the only author that was present. We were, I think, with 21 illustrators and authors. So yeah, it happened on Friday the 8th of March. And as I said, we were with 21 people that came to give a workshop or a reading. And I was asked to give my reading twice, so before 2 class groups. It actually started at 12 o'clock with a lunch for the guests that were invited, so the authors and the illustrators, which meant that we had to leave around 10 a.m. Because Dendermonde for us, from where I live, is a good 1.5 hour drive, and that is without any traffic. And when you know that you have to pass through Brussels, there's always traffic. So we tried to calculate it in, but we still were nice on time, which was a relief for us, because my mom also went with me as my +1 to, you know, support me, well, to play my chauffeur, because again, I don't have a driver's license, but also to help me like with making pictures and of course filming. Again, I, as with any author reading I do, I of course asked the permission of the teachers and the director of the school before I filmed, and which we were allowed, of course, happen. So because I think I explained it in a different video, but in Belgium we have like the entire law around privacy. So at the beginning of each school year, the student gets sent home with like a little document in which details that the child in question can be filmed or photographed on school grounds or in the, like when you go on a school trip or something, and those images can be shared on social media. And then as a parent slash a teenager, because from when you're a teenager, I think you can also like co-sign it. You either agree that people are allowed to film and take pictures of you in the school atmosphere, or you don't agree with it. And if you don't agree, the people have to take that into account, so that if, for example, when an author comes and the author asks to film like I do, or a news crew comes to, you know, do a reportage about anything. It can be from school event to I don't know what, or even just pictures from, you know, a school event. The people who didn't give their permission to be filmed or to be photographed will step out of frame. But luckily the kids that were, well, the teenagers that were in my classrooms were okay with it. I always ask that because, again, it is the law. The thing is, so it was lunch at 12, and the lunch was also prepared by the students and the teachers, which was a nice big buffet. I think they made way too much. Also the direction of, well, the director and like the people that worked on the administrative office and stuff like that were also invited. And then at 1 p.m. or 13 hours, but at 1 p.m. till 1:45 p.m. Was my first presentation, and then from 2 p.m. till 2:45 it was the second presentation, and then afterwards this was again a small reception. Every author that was present got a student as a guide to bring us to the right rooms, also for, you know, the lunch and the reception, but also to our classroom where we would host our presentation. It was quite the experience, because this was actually my second and my third author reading ever, and my first one was with kids 10, 11, 12-year-olds, and now it was 14, 15, 16-year-olds. So yeah, I was a bit nervous to see, because usually that age, and I'm speaking from experience because at that age I was the same, reading wasn't like a priority anymore. So yeah, I was kind of nervous to see if I could, you know, excite them to my stories. So yeah, as you guys could see, it was a low-key basic presentation basically every time, because it was like always like a slot of 45 minutes, which isn't much. So basically I told who I was, how I started with writing, and about my books. I also showed them my book trailers. Those were a big hit. And also I told them about my stories, like one of the books, one of the story bundles actually I wrote, short story bundles. I wrote a story for that, and then for other authors also wrote a story for that. But in that book we actually worked with like lo-fi music that was linked to the book. So on the pages of the books, of the stories, like the scene that was happening, there is like a QR code, and if you scan it you get access to lo-fi music that you can play on the background that matches perfectly the scene that you are reading back then. And that was also quite a hit. A lot of people were interested in that. So I managed to, you know, grasp their attention during the presentation, but he noticed, of course, the teenage enthusiasm isn't that high about reading all the time, sadly. So you noticed that, plus of course it was Friday afternoon, right before the weekend. It was also sunny outside, so it was quite hot in the classrooms. So yeah, but still, I think I still did a great job, because the teacher that that stayed with me and also was a spectator during the presentation was very enthusiastic about it. She was also happened to be a teacher Dutch, so also very fun, because I also studied for like 2 years before I switched to journalism for to become a teacher Dutch English. So that was kind of like a bit of a bond. But she was also very enthusiastic, but she also said, yeah, of course, Friday afternoon, weekend plans are already like zooming in the background. It was also not their first reading that they have to endure, so I was like the second or third in row. Reading isn't always their favorite subject, so yeah. It was a hard crowd, but still, she also said, you did great, and yeah, you still had like some interaction with the people, with the students, so that was also a big plus. So yeah, that was my experience with the Leesweek in Dendermonde. A very fun experience, if you ask me, and I hope that I get asked to take part again, or to do similar projects, because as I said, it was quite fun. But yeah, that is it already for this video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up or a comment down below. Both help this channel grow, and I always love your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I see you guys soon for a bookish, magical, probably on the go video. Bye!